Holy fuck. Would you look at that? Now then, that we are starting the recording, let me open that back up. You know the nice thing, you don't have to cut them anymore. I suppose I should scoot the frock over here. You don't have to cut it, you just kind of look over there, you go back over here, Anyways, let's start this shit. Oh, look. The guy that controls the meat suit when the bard's out has a few things to say. I've been spinning stories and listening to others long enough. I think I know something I can pass on. Let's start with the most important part. The characters, not the players. We're nothing more than the guy that runs the meat suit. But, you know, this could help you guys, so here we are. I need to say a few words about the Jungian archetypes. I mean, I could separate psychology from playing, but instead, get ready for bastardized versions of psychology that may be useful to your gaming. For example, the Fool. In Jungian archetype, that is the beginner. That is the start of everything. So, when you begin a game for the first time, when you're all sitting around at session 0 or 0.5 or just sitting there fucking bored out of your minds because, I mean, you ain't got nothing to do for the next week. Because, you know, whatever the fuck your life is taking you. You can go, the characters. If I could be anybody I wanted to be, who would I be? And, at this point, you are now the Fool. Because you don't know who you are. Or who you want to be. But in being the Fool, you have plenty of room to be somebody else. Whoever you want to be. The Trickster. You know what? If you want to play a trickster character, you empower whatever that word means to you. In Jungian archetype, that's pretty much kind of how it is. The trickster is what he means to you. Yeah. Like I said, I'd bastardize psychology. Lover. Now there's one. The lover. That's open-ended, man. What do you love? Just what do you love? Just pick to be obsessed. You want to be an otaku? Be an otaku. On anything. Whatever it is. It's fine. It's just a game. Kinda. You want to be a healer? Like, seriously, we need a healer. Do you want to be a healer? Please? The party really needs a healer. The party always needs a healer. You want to move on to some universal occupations? I mean, I've covered some of the Jungian archetypes. I'm not going to give you a comprehensive, like I said, bastardization. Summaries. You want to know more about Jungian psychology and archetypes? Go read one of his books. Or one of the books many people have written about him. That's what I did. Now, moving on to the universal occupations that are available out there. We're going to start with the world's oldest profession. If you don't know what the world's oldest profession is, go ask your mothers. I'm not your father. Unless I am, in which case, go ask your mother. Go ask your mother. Okay? Now, moving right along. Other old professions that are just about that old. Cook. I'm a cook. I can cook. Yay! Craftsman of some kind. When you very first start off in civilizations of any kind, usually that's a potter and a weaver. And somebody to make the cloth. I mean, like the basket weaver, not the, well, two different kinds of weavers. They may be the same people. They're probably the same people. That's basic archetypes. of universal occupations. It's a good jumping part for your characters. Your players can use this too, but when you yourself are sitting there and like, okay, here's all these 4 guys or gals or whatever mix there may be of in-betweens. Who am I? Mark the blacksmith. Ha ha ha. How you guys doing? What can I do for you today? Ah, very well, very good. It's gonna be 3 gold pieces and, how you doing? You know, it's been kind of lonely since, the missus got the pox. Oh no, she's still in there, but, you know, it's still kind of lonely. Don't want to break the old lady. Yeah, that'll be 50 gold pieces. No, see, knowing his profession helps. Deciding that he was a pervert? Well, okay. You can do that. A lot of people that I use this voice on kind of probably are. I wonder why. Where was I? Oh, the universal. Oh, that actually does bring me into the next one. Nice segue. Freudian thought. I wonder why. Look, the Freudian line of thought was something along the lines of, we are purely motivated by our pleasure centers. That's all. We just want to go fuck everything. That being said, that's a very big disservice to Freud. I'll let the fucking actual psychologist argue about it. But here's the case. Pleasure is the motivation. However, that being said, we all know people that would have made us go, yep. Most of them are addicts. I mean, addicts, not, well, they're both. It's fine. And you know what? If you're having trouble figuring out what this character's motivate, go for a vice. And that's the best advice. Grab a vice. Especially if they're bad people. And, you know, as a fabulist, it's your job to, you know, run through the lessons and give the blessings. So, what are you gonna do? You're gonna be the villain a lot. You gotta be the villain. You get to play the villain. Don't think of it as, I gotta be a villain. I get to be the villain. Remember to twist that stash. If you have one. If you have a stash to twist. If not, twist your friend's stash. It's alright. Now, where was I? Oh, are you crazy? What? I'm just reading my notes and hoping it's entertaining. Yes, you are. But so is everyone else. So is everyone else. You are going to think you look fucking nuts. Especially if you practice any of these techniques before the actual game day. If you go look in the mirror and go, how you doing? I'm Mark the blacksmith. Yes, that is bastardization of a friend's character from way back, but whatever. How you doing? If you go into the, bathroom, looking around, making sure nobody does. Well, I do declare, how are you, mister? Because that's going to make you feel weird at the game table, too. But, you can do it. Now, you got to use accents. I use accents. Why do I use accents? Because I'm that kind of person. I am extroverted enough to use accents, introverted enough not to like to, go to the grocery store alone. Whatever. That's who I am. I don't know who you are. Whoever you are, you're going to have to learn your style. There are thousands of styles of doing this, just like there's millions of people doing it. Being a fabulist is... I would say it's being God, but I control the gods. It's being the Titan. You are the Titans. And that is the fun part. You're the biggest and you're the baddest, but what you really want to do is tell a story. We're not. Well, you know what? Hold on. Before I say what you want to do is tell a story, I don't know you. You may not want to tell a story. You may want to kick that damn door open and go, "Where are the goblins? I got some axing to do." Should have went with ask him a question, but it's so cliche. It's been done so many times. It's just, being from the South. I just feel like maybe you guys need some new jokes up here. Alright? It's fine. Where the fuck was I? Oh. Shameless promotion. Is this shameless self-promotion? Okay. Now, this is going to be half me probably babbling and half me probably telling you my own psychological philosophies, and this is a bastardization. I have yet to write a psychological paper because I just haven't. If I get around to it, you know what? I'll write one. However, everything I say, the psychologist will go, "Well, he never went to school. So, well, maybe he knows a little bit of what he's talking about. He may have studied without school." Let me ask you this. Who's in debt? We both are. Just different reasons. Alright. So, the basis of the philosophy. People have two emotions that drive them. That's it. These are our motives. Two emotions. One is love. If you found it, if you have it, if you possess it, give it freely. The other is fear. These are the opposites of one another. I know. If you read my game, you will see that my philosophies went into it. You know what? So did everybody else that ever wrote one of these things. If you've ever wrote your own campaign, your philosophies went into it. Because those are your philosophies and that is your creation. If you do not agree with my philosophy, I don't care. It's my philosophy. And that's kind of the basis of my philosophy is I don't care what you think about me. So, moving on with love and fear. Like I said, I'd ramble. I like to know how my characters will act on the extremes of either side and then assume most people are not extremists. Okay? They're somewhere in between the extremes. If you want to roll percentile and decide just how extreme they are, you're welcome to it. But, that being said, just play it by ear. You don't have to think about everybody's morals, everybody's love, everybody's fear. You don't have to think about what everyone's doing all the time. You just have to think about the characters that you're playing at the time and what they're doing. Because you're going to be a lot of people. That's your job. You get to pretend to be a lot of different people while they get to pretend to be one, possibly two, if they're comfortable with that. Don't push anyone. Never pressure them into playing more than one. That being said, it's always fun to suddenly make them play their old characters in the new game. Just, with a little, "Hey, this is what's been going on. This is why you're here, blah, blah, blah. Just play your guy." Usually what I've found, one of the others does not talk a lot. Happens. You can't do that. You have to be you can. And at first you will. If you are never, ever been a fabulist, ever in your life, if you were perfectly beginning, this is what you're gonna say. You're gonna go, a lot. And that's okay. Don't let it discourage you, man. We all start at the beginning of this shit. And unless you've been in theater class most of your life, or you're a consummated actor, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of actors play the game. A game. Any tabletop. Because it increases their acting skills. It's practice for them. And practice makes perfect. If you are of the mind that you do not like to be the center of attention, don't start with this. Go on the other side of the table, take a seat as a player, and wait. If you've got the ideas, let the game, whatever game you're playing, this does not just apply to my own game. It's not specially formulated to do these magic tricks. It's all tabletop role-playing games will do this to some extent or another. Play a bard, play something outspoken, get your confidence up, and then come back to this side when you're ready. I don't want to make it sound like Titan's Reign. It'll cure all your social anxiety and problems. It won't. But it will help you overcome things. Now where was I? Yeah, I lost my place. The greatest fear. Yeah, this is the greatest fears. That's where I was going with that. Losing one of the big four. These are the big four greatest fears that, in my opinion, most humans have. Some humans do not fear these things. And those guys are usually doing alright, man. But if you fear one of these things, it's going to catch you up. Freedom. The fear of losing your freedom will drive you to do things against your own moral compass. For example, if you are the type that likes to partake in illegal, illicit substances, fear of going to jail will keep you from doing that. If you're the type that can use such things responsibly, I ain't got no problem with you doing it. If you're the type that doesn't, seek help before you end up in jail. You need medical assistance. Go get medical help. Please. We love you. Go get help. Security. Losing your security. This is the opposite end of freedom. For the record. When you are locked in solitary confinement, you are secure. You are so secure. You are so secure, in fact, that you are not a threat to yourself or anybody else. And neither is anyone a threat to you or anybody else. That is the ultimate security. That being said, doesn't leave a lot of room for freedom. And when you lose freedom, you tend to go mad. So, next, love. The fear of the loss of love. If you are afraid to lose something you love, you will fight like hell for what you love. You will do things for what you love that are evil. You will do evil, bad things for certain forms of love. Not true. You know. If you don't know, go know. You'll learn. Whatever. Hope. The fear of losing hope. Hope is the last thing we will lose in most situations. Once someone has lost hope, madness or insanity is likely to result. That being said, if you can keep all four of those things in somewhat of a balance, you should be fine. Your mental capacities will be alright. You're alright. If for some reason you've lost one of those things, seek some medical or, attention, go get a second opinion. I'm not licensed at all. And I mostly use these observations for role-playing games. That said, all the things can and will be given up for something. You will give any four of those things up for something, usually one of the other somethings. If my life was threatened and I cared, I would lock myself up for security purposes and be stuck somewhere. If my freedom was threatened, I would lock myself up somewhere and Now, where was I? I was looking at something else here. Blah, 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 blah. Usually for one of the other big four, hope is often forsaken last and is a powerful motivator, even when all else seems lost. Yeah, the fact that hope is usually the last thing you lose, and even when everything else is gone, you still hold on to that. So, hope, great motivator. Point in case, this game is being worked on as a final hope to get my crazy ass out of poverty. At least I'm funny. Love is often given up before all else. It's the first thing to go when the shit hits the fan and emotions get higher than hippies on the moons of Neptune. Yeah. So, human beings, which we all are. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're not. Okay, so my perspective on it, you may not, your brains may not work this way. I don't fucking know. Human beings, on a whole, we love other things, but we love conditionally. Human beings have a tendency to put conditions on the things they love without ever realizing they've done it, but something will break it. Point in case, if you have a marriage and your spouse goes off and sleeps with somebody else, the marriage is usually over. That's just the way it is. Usually, not always. Sometimes they love each other still. People make mistakes. And forgivenesses are made. And if they do it again, then and if they didn't, that's how things work. So. Security and freedom is a sliding scale that all so-called sentient creatures live in. A completely secure lifestyle where nothing bad can ever happen also means you are not free to behave in any way that would, could, might, or will harm others. Meaning, absolute freedom swings the other way. If someone chooses to harm you, it is their right to do so, just as it's your right to beat the fuck out of them and defend yourself. No one is compelled to help you in any way, nor harm you. However, most sentient creatures like to control each other because they have massive fucking egos. This kind of place is usually the easiest because you don't need to memorize laws. So, if for some reason you're just starting out and you don't really want to take morals or any kind of societal BS into account, complete and utter anarchy. Go with it. It's fun. And expect something. Your players are going to carve out the law for themselves. And if you've never played that campaign and you're just now hearing about it, you're welcome. You're fucking welcome. Have fun. Going back down. Let's see what else I got. A New Hope. That's what I wrote. So one time, a very pretty girl made me an offer. Oh, fuck. Despite the fact I wasn't single, I took her up on the offer in hopes of getting laid, and gave up what I believed was love, what I claimed was love, what I had been told was love. By the way, I was a child. I was 14 years old, and the lesson was hormones. That's the fucking joke. That's the joke I wrote. Hormones. Fucking sounds like it was written by a 14-year-old child. The point is, for the hope of freedom, I will give up security, and vice versa. Everyone has a strong desire, and they will give up everything for it. There is something right now that you'd give up everything you have for. You may not know what it is, and you better hope nobody else does. So, some points that I kind of, I hear some arguments that may come up in my comments. My monster doesn't feel fear. But I want it to be intelligent. Okay. Fine, dude. Your monster doesn't feel fear. It's probably not going to be able to feel love either. These are two things on the opposite end of the spectrums. Unfortunately, it's probably kind of robotic. That's how I would play it. You don't have to play it that way. Play it however you want to play it. You play it if you want to play it. We will exterminate, destroy. Well, you're welcome to it. If you want to play it, that does not compute, but I will try to analyze what it is you're trying to tell me. I believe your emotional responses to my physical character are unvalidated, as I have no such equipment. You can do anything you want with it. It's your game. Moving on. I wanted to feel only positive emotions. This is how I play my fucking fairies, dude. So, that's, my positive little feeder fairies that feed on only good emotions. That's how I play them. They're all light and love, and if you've ever met that person, well, bless their hearts. And I mean that in the most southern way I can. You ever met people that are on that only positive kick? You know what I'm talking about? And, they're wonderful fucking people. I love them to death, but if you only got that good emotion, that means you aren't... You're gullible. You're gullible. You're going to take the best in everybody. You're going to assume that everybody has the same, that nobody's out for themselves. Without fear of betrayal, you won't look for betrayal. Therefore, look, I've played a lot of games, okay? I've had a lot of people sitting on that side of the table where you're sitting now, and the truth is, I've had a few at my game table, and you got fucked over pretty hard because the name of the game is, to have fun. And without actually harming people, you can fuck people over pretty nicely in games. And it doesn't really hurt anybody, except their pride. Oh boy, did not. Anyways, moving on. Sorry, buddy, if you're still out there. But yeah, fear serves as a good way to keep you alive. So, does the goon with the gun have a wife and a kid? Or does he spend his time banging his best friend's girl? Two kinds of people in the world, and why does it matter? Wondering if his boss is the kind to launder his cash through an orphanage, thus keeping the kids fed and semi-educated due to the deep-rooted religious beliefs he can be forgiven for his sins by helping those kids? Curious if the former fixer turned fishmonger has any last wishes, considering the players just beat him for info while trash-talking his family and making up lewd stories about his hot daughter. This isn't the thought you planned. The players were supposed to get set up and decided to arrive 2 hours. 2 hours early. They just beat this poor fool to fuck. And then left him. Mark free. His motive is to survive this. He wants 3 things, and he only has hope. He hopes he survives. The boss already dropped off his donation this week. These punks have been bopping his boys and popping his bitches. 2 of them fucked his wife. 1 shot his mistress, and the other 3 set his legitimate furniture store on fire. He has lost everything and fears what they will do left unchecked. His motive is wrath. The goon. He came to put a beat down on some punks for profit. He's lucky one of them does not believe Or, no, one of them does believe in the sanctity of marriage. Sorry, does not. Two of them we know don't. Believes in the sanctity of marriage, and when he spots the ring, he pops him with a sleeping agent, and the fight begins. The fixer gets away from the area as fast as possible. This is why he got out of that life in the first place and became a goddamn fishmonger. Dear fuck. I don't want any fucking part of this, man. The boss has brought plenty of other people, but Mealy's the name because that's quiet, and you gotta do it quiet like. Now, it only takes about an hour to get info. Setting traps is a good way to spend 20 minutes. The fire trap took out part of the overpass, however. A car landed on the fixer. Bad day to be that guy. A circle of fire surrounded the crew and the boss. Cops on the way. The two that had his wife sprung forth with daggers in hand only to be caught by their throats and slammed into a burning car. A single shot to the head drops the boss. 2 miles away, the mistress puts away the rifle and limps to the elevator. A car was already arranged. She is free. Before she boards the plane, she hands a package to a courier. The other half of the money she owes to the crew, whose life, she would have just saved, but, they kind of planned the whole thing. So, whatever. A little scenario for you. You can go over it in your head of how things could have gone differently, and you're going to. After the games, this is what you're going to find your mind state in. You're going to go, well, what could I have done differently? No, don't go there. Don't go, what can I do next? Based off of what I've done, what can I do next? Don't ask what you could have done different. What can I do next based off of what I've done? Keep it flowing forward. Look back only for consistency. And if you notice a mistake, talk about it with the game. Talk about it with everybody. Make the ruling then and make it final. That's it. Don't stress. Don't worry. We are here to have fun. And if it stops being fun, you take a break, okay? You go, you take a break, and you come back when it's fun again. Because life will suck the fun out of shit. So come back when it's fun, alright? Moving on to personas. Told you I'd be a lot of rambling. That's okay. This is me for reals. Maybe. Personas. So what's a persona? A persona is a hidden true self. This is who you would be free of social constructs. This is where you keep things you don't want other people to know. This is your truth, man. This is your truth. This is what Jung would call the self. This is your truest self right there. You're looking at it. Now, if you go with this methodology, this is where people will keep their virtues, their trauma, their weaknesses, their vices, and if they're nuts, other personalities. Is locked because another personality is a persona. Now, I could get into all kinds of weird fucking philosophical and psychological shit, but that's not the purpose of this video. Now, when you come to virtues, some people hide their virtues. A criminal. I don't even want to say a criminal. A thug. You know what? I don't care how thuggy he is. I don't care if he will cold-blooded murder anybody for fucking shit. He may have a hidden virtue. It may be the fact that he has a child that he's doing this for. He may have taken this life on because one thing, one child. Even if there is virtue in taking care of that child. He has a virtue, but he would never let any of his boys know. He'd never let any of his enemies know, because that virtue is also his weakness. Trauma. not the right guy to be discussing trauma. We all got some, guys. We're all fucking trauma. We all got trauma. We've all been through something that made us go. And that's okay. Hopefully, most of everybody's been able to go. And now when they think about it, they go, and just go on with their lives and, like, you know, whatever. Vices. I simplify my vices into the 7 deadly sins because it's fucking easy. That's why it's done that way. That's why people continuously draw off of the 7 deadly sins and throw it into all kinds of works. I have overly used it myself in some of my fluff, but that's fine. I don't mind. Vices, everybody's got some. Drugs being the modern... No, actually they're not. Drugs have been a scourge to every society at some point or another. That's why a lot of people say you can't have them. It's just the way it is. Other vices include things that don't involve addiction would be, serial killers like to murder people. Dude's got a fucking temper problem. You know? Dude's got to make a fucking whatever check to... I'm trying not to be game specific because I don't want to be game specific for you guys completely. Whatever check not to go off the handle and, fly off into a freaking rage. Mind me a sip. Other personnel. You may be running a very serious game. You may be tackling such serious freaking things as dissociative identity disorder in your game. If you are, and you're doing it in a very serious manner, good for you. Because, insanity is not funny in such a game. You do not want it to be. You are trying to portray a seriousness of the nature, and it's probably... You're playing Cthulhu. You're playing fucking Cthulhu. I know what you're doing. It's fine. Go crazy. All for that one joke. No, insanity is nothing to... I do whatever you want at your game table. I don't care. I'm not judging you. Other people might. I don't care. People go crazy. People do have dissociative identity disorder is a thing. It exists. It is a rare thing. Maybe. We don't know. Not that well studied. Last time I checked. And it is a staple of soap operas and everything else for millennia. People thinking they are someone they aren't, or someone they are, but they're not because they are that. Multiple personalities happen. This is where they would be resided. I'll tell a story. So, my player was playing a dude whose stepsister, an adopted sister, was absolutely nutty and had multiple personalities. Player happened to get a chance to go, use some mind-altering substances on the poor girl, and, when that happened, the other personality took over. The drugs still took effect, but the memories were locked away tight because of another personality did not have access to them. It is a useful... look, I didn't want the player to know that yet. So, they had to wait. It works. Use what you got. I'm not saying... I only used it because they were already... I'd already established. I didn't suddenly be like, oh god, I better... I didn't do that this time. I've done it. Everyone will. And it's okay to do that too. Masks. We're moving on to masks instead of craziness. So, in certain social situations, all of us put on our masks. In a lot of games, I'm going to go with the charisma score is probably going to handle how well you do that. Not to be game specific, but whatever takes the place of that is probably how you're doing it in your game. It's necessary, guys. Sometimes you have to hide your persona. Look, if I am in the South, as well, I don't want to say that because I act pretty much the same everywhere. Around certain people, you keep your mouth shut. I like to be respectful to pastors and preachers. I myself do not follow their faith. Therefore, around them, I keep my damn mouth shut. Whereas, half the time, some of the things that would come out of their mouths would cause me to be very actively not a mouth shutter. Anyways, so, some people have one, maybe two masks that they use. Some people go through life being quite not nearly as dumb as they pretend to be. And good for them. They've learned that people think they're dumb, they'll get an easier life. Let them. Some people go through life pretending to be rebels. Rebels without causes. Fuck the status. And sometimes that becomes their whole persona. That's the thing about a mask. Sometimes it becomes your persona. It's fine. Some people go through life pretending to be the golden child. You know what kind of people. You know. Some people go through life pretending to be everybody's mother. And some people go through life pretending to be everybody's father. They're not. They're not, but they do that. They are very nurturing and giving, are very stern and... That's not how you should behave. Well, you're not my dad, so fuck off. Are very... Are you alright, dear? Do you need this? Do you need that? I'm okay, man. Thank you. People like this make me nervous. We can go into my psychology later. Moving on. So, my methods are based loosely on psychology. Second part of role-playing, safety word pronounceability. Wrong kind of role-playing. Let's move on. That's a horrible joke, but somebody has to make it. Come on. Dear Lord, we can't sit here in the dark and pretend we're not all adults. If you are letting your child play one of these games, don't let them watch this particular video. Play child approved. I am not child approved, okay? My own children don't approve of me. Acting. Overacting. And trying too hard. Not everyone has the charisma or motivation to speak 3 octaves higher in a bad foreign accent that could be seen as insensitive at best and possibly a little racist at worst. Is it funny? Yes, and it's fun. More than one way to skin a cat. I made a PETA joke there, but you know what? It seems like it's in poor taste. So I'm not going to say it. I may leave it in the transcript. That being said, that saying is older than most of the countries on our planet. And as a musician, I feel like I can use it. Limited acting methods. Back in my day, stat blocks, rudimentary dungeon, open door, unalive, repeat. That's hack and slash. Hack and slash is a fine way to run a fucking game, guys. You know, I find it weird that I would skip over the word unalive and not fucking. You people are getting out of my fucking control. And I don't like it. Fucking sensitive asses. Anyways, in a hack and slash game, in case you're not familiar with them, because you're not, the formula is rather easy. You don't have to do a lot of acting or role playing, but it can be a lot of fun to do so, and it's a great start for anyone just getting into the game. You don't have to think about the nitty gritties of society, and you don't have to be a 19th century romance author to get through the day. Instead, all you have to do is go. You find yourself in a 10 by 10 by room and surrounded by little small creatures all over the floor. These little creatures have little pitchforks and little cute tails. You can't decide whether to hug one or kick it. It decides for you as it bites at your toe. Roll initiative. And that's it. That's all you have to do. And from there on, it's... Your game may not have initiative. Sorry. If your game... Whatever. You know what that means. Who's going first, people? Let's go to combat. If you enjoy combat, these are the games for you. If you enjoy tactical combat, these are also the games for you. If you have a tactical combat fabulist. Yes, I am using our terminology for that because I like it. Fabulist. Makes me feel Greek. Like, not New Greek, old Greek, like ancient even. Where was I? Okay, because I knew I had some. Oh, right. The only thing you really need is one village. And you don't even have to have that. If you have one traveling salesman who stops by every once in a while to see the party and go, "Hey, how you doing? See, you found this shop. What can I get for you? Ooh, we got some nice ones on this level of the dungeon. I tell you what, check out this rank 1 magic blade. Just great for catching the dragon down the hall." Then you only have to play one character through the whole thing. Limited acting methods to get you more comfortable. It's a great first adventure. Love this one. Fuck it, we're the chosen ones. This also means that you don't have to do much. You only have to act in one mode. One mode. Oh. Or... So maybe two modes. There's always the polarity. If everyone is in awe of your... If you grew up in a convent, and it was well known that they are the legendary legends of legend, reborn to be legends of legend, to take on the legendary legend of evil, then chances are everybody's going to find these legendary reborn motherfuckers to be quite something. And if your players just happen to be a ragtag band of fucking murder hobos, well, all the better. Because these legendary legends are going to become the legendary evil pretty quick, and people are going to be like, "Ooh, fuck, maybe we made a mistake there." See, this works well for, people who, much like yourself right now, are going, that sounds pretty like how I'm going to talk anyways. Yeah, it works great. I mean, if you're already kind of nervous about running your game, and the first person they come to is chosen ones. Sorry to interrupt your, musings, however, it would appear that there is a bit of problem that might be able to use your magic. If you come at them with that. Now, that's of course overacting. But overacting your own nervousness, they won't know. It is better to be considered an chewery. I like that word. You are a chewery, a scenery chewer. Then it is to be flat. Another limited acting. Just following orders. My dad was in the military. Let me preface it by that. If you are also in the military, of any military in the world, I'm not just calling out one. If you are also in the military, just following orders might be the best way to go. If you're stuck in, in the military mode. Just following orders. If you are in the military, I would like to say this. This is a great tactical exercising for anyone. This is a great pastime. I mean, I highly think that most world militaries should use role-playing techniques to train their minds and the soldiers to think ahead of time in these zones, and I'm sure they have little things they do that are based off the same psychology that role-playing games hit. Moving on. Just following orders is, you only have to really play if, for some reason, you come across, if you're the type who, you don't have a lot of emotion in your voice, if you're the kind, I don't want to call anybody out. I might need his services later. But if you're that type that, you only have the one tone, then you can always go, well, yeah, everybody sounds the same. It's the military. Okay. How much more than... Dear Lord. This is going to be longer, and I'm going to have to freaking edit the hell out of it. Some psychological states that you may experience during or after the games. They're all going to laugh at me. Yes, we are. Probably. So, this is collaborative storytelling. And you're about to show your storytelling process to other people. They're going to see your triumphs and they're going to see your failures. And as you keep going at it, you'll have both of these things and it'll be okay. And it'll be fun. When you fall, get back up. That's it. Why do we fall? Imposter syndrome. You could possibly. I'm not good at it. However, you're going to finish the sentence of I'm not. You're about to make yourself right. So, let's stop. Stop. Don't say it. Don't say it aloud. This is a skill. This is a skill. It has to be honed. It has to be trained. If you say you're not, then you're not. If you say you are, then you are. Now, this is the oldest technique in the world. So keep going. If you honestly do not enjoy what you're doing, don't do it. But don't let the fact that you think you can't hold you back. Come on, give it a shot. Because I guarantee you can do this. All of us can. Anybody can do this. This is the other extreme of that emotion, by the way. Oh, I gotta tell somebody something. You are super giddy. The giddiness is the hit of dopamine that you're about to receive when the take out your big bad villain and save the world right before that plot twist. And goosebumps go up their arms. Oh. Breathe. Enjoy it. And move on. Here's another one. Oh, that fucking... Oh. That was horrible. Rolls felt bad. Your delivery of the speech was fucking... Low energy. Not feeling great about the next session, feeling like you want to give up, don't go there. Don't go there. It's okay. Sometimes this happens. Real life is more important than the game life. And sometimes real life surrounding everything will cause the game to be a little not what you were hoping for. It's okay. You're gonna survive. You're gonna survive. And you're free to play it next week and improve. Maybe your energy wasn't in it. Maybe their energy wasn't in it. You don't, unless you know the people you're playing with on a, like, that kind of level, you don't know what's going on in their lives. They don't know what's going on in yours. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Was there a cost? Yes, there was a cost to this, but you don't have to beat yourself over what it was. It's probably not the most important thing. Sometimes energy is just low. If it continues to happen, I want you to turn your mirrors around. That way the Fae can't keep trapping and sucking all your energy from you, okay? If that doesn't work, turn the mirror back around and maybe ask them to help. Maybe they'll give you a boon. I don't know. Sometimes the people you're playing with, sometimes you yourself, sometimes people get burnout. There's 1,000 ways it can fail. However, there's something you're going to notice. As soon as that energy, as soon as the drops, take a break. Immediately. I don't care what part of the game it is, even better if it's a cliffhanger. If they're right in the middle of combat, definitely take a break. If you have been at your combat for more than 30 minutes and it's dragging and you feel a little, take a break. Bring whatever cycles or rolls or whatever you're doing with whatever system you're in to a close. Take a break. Come back. Start a new cycle. Discuss it while you're out. Talk to your players while you're taking this break. Walk away from the game table. If you're playing online, I just stay sitting there and talk. And then, after you've taken a break, and you'll feel the energy go back up as people quit thinking about it so hard. And that's where they're trying too hard. Stop, take the break, and come back. Eat some cheesy hearts. Pretend to be someone else for a few more hours, and you'll be alright. And that'll stop most games. If you stop and take a break in the middle of your games, that'll stop them from bombing. Almost every time, because you'll feel that energy. You'll notice the energy drop. Be alright. Oh, this one. I like them as a friend, but not at my table. Okay, so as it turns out, some of our friends are little bundles of bad behavior and annoying habits that don't bother us except at the table. Some people are toxic to each other. Sometimes that toxicity bleeds into this game. Notice it and try to stop it early. That's all you can do. I'm leaving the screen. That's it. Honest communication. Look, if you cannot be honest with the people you're playing the game with, if you can't have open dialogue and communication, then it's not going to be nearly as fun. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying if you're playing this game with a bunch of toxic people around your table, I hope all of you experience some good healing, because that's probably going to happen. You're going to get to know each other on a level that probably helps you. I'm not saying it'll, make everything better, but it'll probably do something. Hopefully help you. Also, if for some reason you do suffer major mental illnesses of any kind, please consult your psychologist before you play any tabletop role-playing games. Just in case, because I don't know what I don't know what you got going on. So, the main job is to make whatever weird dynamics you have outside of the game stay outside the game and not in the game. That being said, if you figure out how to do that, could you write a little thing the rest of us would like to know? This happens if you have a temper of any kind, or if you can think angry thoughts. Fuck these 4 little shits, they all die. This thought will cross your head probably multiple times a game. Don't. Just don't, okay? All of your carefully laid plans have been destroyed by your players. You should have wrote the book rather than let them, fuck up your story. This is what the game's about. When you write these scenarios down, when you go X dragon meets knight, and the knight's job is to go slay the dragon, and the players are his squires, and they follow behind him, and they get to the dragon, and then they go, well, he doesn't seem so bad, we'd like to work for the dragon now. Now, you have planned an entire game based around the knights, and these guys becoming knights. And your players, being assholes, have decided they no longer want to play knights. Those squires now want to be dragon cultists or something. You're going to want the dragon to breathe on them. But don't. Instead, make them kill their commander, or unalive him, or do something. Better yet, have him sent back with out his arms. Let's not get too graphic on here. And let them, and then tell the story as best you can. That's it. That's all you can do. This is where you're at. This is the kind of game you have chosen. You are going to have to learn to let go of how you want the story to progress and just let it progress as they do. That is not to say you cannot stand up. Now, if for some reason they insult the king and they are lowly commoners, and in this society people don't do that, and the king's within his right to kill, unalive them, and he would, or if he's more the good type that would just let the slight go by, give him a look and be like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Then, do that. Don't let him walk all over you, for certain. Anyways, that was the last thing I wrote there. Why role-playing? Why role-playing? In elementary, I was a dragon. I ran around the playground as a dragon. A robber. Sometime an ethnically marginalized group of native people. That's what I did. I was always the villain as a child. I was born to play the villain as a child. I was bullied, I was manipulated, I was an underdog, and I was an overlord. And that's probably why I was bullied, because I was bossy. Look, all of us have things we should probably be doing. Things that we don't want to be doing, and things we'd rather not be doing. None of us are living the ideal lives that we would love. None of us have all the skills that we would love to have. I'm not saying that by rolling some dice and pretending you're a blacksmith, you'll be a better blacksmith. Because you probably won't be. You should probably get out into the forge. But if you're looking for social interaction because mortal existence is lonely, then this is the game. This is how you do it. You could go play video games. This gives you more freedom than that. This is more intimate than a video game. Video games were made for millions in mind. Your fabulist tailored this shit to you. I mean, this allows you... I don't have to be Michael the Fry Cook. I can be Bard Bear the Flatulent. The great stench beneath the Emperor's nose. A warrior that clears the room, whether by glaive or gas. Why be Michael the Roofer when I can be Telememora, goddess of change, in training? Giver of exactly what you need to change yourself, because you should change. You should change. Yeah, you should work on that, but you know, you choose better or worse. Daughter of Alexa and Telmore, goddess of the flames of love, god of trickery. He totes became a chick and her a dude, and then he carried me like a mom, and he didn't tell her, and but I mean, he's the god of trickery. What do you think he's gonna do? Come on. Duh. I mean, Ison's the lucky one. At least mom got to raise him. Dear God, she's the goddess of love. He's the god of trickery. Do you know what my life was like? Anyways. So, why would you attempt to look at the things from a perspective of another creature? You can answer that yourself. So I know some things about me. I'd lose my license for psychology because crazy chicks are my type. That's why I never tried to go get one. I'm not the type of person that needs to be in that role. I'm not your therapist. I actually treat most people like they're mine. This is cheaper than therapy, though. This is a lot cheaper than therapy. And if you're at my table, I kind of am your therapist. I'm going to learn some weird shit, maybe. And you're going to learn some weird shit, hopefully. And we're both going to learn together. And it's going to be great. If you have a group therapy session somewhere, and you are a psychologist, or you are a therapist, I highly recommend this. Now, I might be able to go get it. No, I should not be a therapist either. Seriously. Now, I could say here, I think I've actually given you I could give you a complete comprehensive list of why role-playing is psychologically beneficial to not only those who are, seeking a new hobby, but to anyone in any fucking hobby. Anything you do, role-playing can be beneficial socially for you. So, I'm not going to. I could go look at studies. I mean, I could also show you guys some studies where role-playing games took over some guys' lives, and that's all they did, and I ain't judging them. That's how they did. Stuff happens. You can find all of these things out for yourself. The benefits on a sane and sound mind far outweigh the troubles that it would cause a sane and sound mind. That being said, if for some reason you are severely mentally ill, if for some reason you have a psychologist You know what? If you have a psychologist before you play the game, talk to your psychologist about it. If you don't have a psychologist, let it be your therapy then. If you can't afford one, you know what? This shit's still cheaper than therapy. Go do it. They should have fucking took better care of you in your country. I don't know what to fucking say. I'm in the same boat. Fuck it. Or learn yourself. I don't know. Okay, so this is hyperbole. The ancient philosophers used role-playing in their schools. I can't prove that. They found some dice, people. I'm going with it. Whether it's true or not, I'm still going to say it's true. I mean, for some reason, the most holy of holies with the decahedron, a D12, a 12-sided dice. That is the holiest of holies. I don't know what kind of 12-base system they were using, but I'm fairly certain that if it's a 12-based anything, they probably inherited that shit from the Sumerians, which means role-playing has been around forever. I should probably put a caption. I don't actually know that role-playing's been around forever, but I have a guess that people have been telling stories and making shit up for as long as forever, and collaborative storytelling has been around forever, and that's kind of all we're doing. It's collaborative storytelling with rules and roles. And you don't even have to use those if you don't want to. There's systems that don't. So, kids role play with each other from the start. You know what? As soon as my little brother, and I was allowed to be within arm's reach of him because I was very young, I went, "You're the Dagon." Now, I had no idea that indeed I would be the Dagon for the rest of my life, but that's what kids do. Whether it's our favorite fucking heroes or some of us get typecast as the villain. Always the villain, never the hero. I let them play the villains. That way I can be the hero. Never. Like, it's usually a Dudley Do Right type. Dun 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 dun. Okay. We play video games for the same reason. I think I've already went over that. Everybody wants to be the star in someone else's story. This lets us be the star in someone else's story to a degree that nothing else can provide technologically that we have as of the recording of this video. So, on top of that, I mean, everybody wants to devastate their enemies. Come on. Who doesn't want to slay their enemies? We don't, because we live in a society where that is frowned upon. And we want freedom not to go to jail. Because despite the security, raid requires relief. Collective storytellers better than cruising back roads and breaking mailboxes. Better than shooting turtles in a pond. Are physically assaulting that dumb motherfucker that finally said the wrong thing. Yeah, definitely better than that. Role-playing is definitely better than that. You can do that in the game. You can do that. You can... Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I should have just read ahead instead of saying that. Besides, making fun of that asshat by making him some cowardice little shit that gets the baka beatdown from your friends is way more fun than rapping your knuckles. Because his crooked little fucking ass teeth cut your knuckle. And having to spend the night in jail because he, went to be stitched and fucking snitched. That's okay. It's like pre-karma. I don't fucking know. Role-playing helps you get over trauma. Keeps you off of illicit substances. I mean, don't know how anyone's going to be able to buy drugs when you spend all the fucking money on dice, okay? It's just, it ain't going to happen. I can quit dice anytime I want, man. Like, actually, I haven't played in a while, so yes, I can. Okay, so I've suffered tragedy and heartache in life. So have you. I had childhood. We've all had childhood. Blah, blah, blah. That was horrible stuff, and I'll probably not edit it. Self-esteem issues. If you're having self-esteem issues, you're going to want to play the suave master of disguise. You know why? Because they're the suave master of disguise. In order to get over most issues, you have to place yourself outside of the comfort zone that those issues keep you in. You can go look that up psychologically. I'm still not your therapist, nor am I licensed. We've went over this. With that in mind, would you believe I used to be the shy guy? That in person I'm actually quite shy, and that this entire video is being played in character. Parts of it. Now, with that in mind, I'm no longer the shy person that I used to be. I got over my issues, and role-playing did that for me. Because I am the villain, therefore I get to play all the parts. And there is no quicker way to learn what your dark sides are and what your shadow is and what you're keeping hidden from yourself than to do such a thing. If you're willing, whatever. Helplessness, feelings of helplessness. You have been made to feel helpless, and you need your empowerment back. Gotcha. You about to play the baddest ass fucking warrior that you can. You're going to make a cannot be stopped, hell-bent on destruction warrior that by the end of it makes you feel empowered again. That's all you need. It'll help. Social anxiety. Play a self-assured, pompous nobleman. Why do I say pompous? Because we all have our own ideas of what pompous means. When I say pompous, I think, ha ha, I am the best. Indeed, no one could be better. Ha 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 ha. That's what I think of a pompous nobleman. With that in mind, when you are so self-assured that nothing can possibly be your fault, you don't have any social expectations. You're already on the top. Therefore, what do you have to be anxious about? You're the baddest bitch in the room. So, with that in mind, you guys can go do studies on this or whatever. This is my personal experience over fucking decades of playing the games. It's retrained your brain to whatever situations you find yourself. Your brain doesn't know the difference between role-playing and reality. The same things in your head light up when you imagine yourself running down the hallway with a sword, and you actually run down the hallway with a sword. Granted, you're not going to be as well practiced with a blade as someone who spends 4 hours a day swinging a blade. In fact, you should probably get some practice in before you swing some blades. It's not going to teach you how to sword fight, but it'll teach you tactics. It'll teach you social tactics. It'll teach you problem-solving skills and how to circle away with the resources that you have to get the results that you wish. And if that's not the epitome of great business management, I don't know what is. Oh, I'm coming up to my conclusions. I didn't write a conclusion. I did not. So, my conclusion is all improv, just like everything all my games usually are. Why? We've answered most of the questions. I don't even need a conclusion. The conclusion is thus. Role-playing is a fun hobby that anyone can learn and master. And you're here because you're trying to learn and master the art of being the storyteller. If you're here because you're a player, you can also learn some things. This is about role playing. Go role play. It's the quickest way to learn how to do anything, isn't it? Fucking cheers, mate.